Hey guys, it's Katie at scrappinkaty.ctmh.com, and I am bringing you day 13 of 30 days of sketches, as well as scrap timber prompt.
Here is a look at the sketch for day 13, and the scrap timber prompt is stars. So right off the bat, you see a whole lot of stars on here. I'm going to do it a little bit different. I am going to use some die cut stars, maybe even add a shaker star element, kind of where the star is behind the title. So we'll see how that goes. That's my plan, at least. I have pulled out these two photos. We recently went camping with my sister and my brother-in-law and my niece, and we went night fishing. And so there's the big huge moon. Of course, these photos do it no justice, but I'm going to use those photos, and then I'm going to use this pattern paper from the Wander collection. And I just love it because it's already got a starry background anyway. And so that will probably be the majority of the stars is going to come into play with this background paper. And then I've also pulled some star sequins. I'm thinking about maybe the silver ones, maybe the sapphire ones, definitely not the gold ones, I don't think. But I've pulled those as well. And then I've pulled this stamp set. I'm wanting to, if I do a shaker or even on the largest star, I'm wanting to create a little scene with this little pond and then some trees, a canoe, maybe even a little campfire, even though we didn't camp right there by the water, but you know, it's cute, so might as well add it. So that's my plan, at least. So we'll start with this background paper, and then these photos will kind of go like this, much like the sketch. And then these yellow ones, I'm always torn between, is a star really yellow or is it white? So I pulled these. These are from my stash back when we had textured cardstock. So I pulled some yellow ones from my stash, and then I've gone ahead and I've cut the shaker element. I like that the background could be vellum, especially if I build the pond and stuff upon that. And it's just using our star shaker cut and thin cuts, or star shaker window, and confetti. And so these little stars right here are these little stars. So I'm going to speckle those here and there as well. And then that's another reason why, if I've got silver here, I'm just not sure about the yellow and how that's going to look. So the easiest thing to do is I'm going to go ahead and build my scene over here. And I've gone ahead and I've cut the pond. The only bad thing is you can't really tell it's a pond if it's going to be on that much smaller star. I'm going to go ahead and stamp. The way these trees come is they come with a thin cut like that, and then there is a little image right here that you stamp the veins of the tree. And so I got to make sure the veins are going the right way, or the branches. I'm going to pull out probably my Evergreen ink. Evergreen or New England Ivy? That is sage. So I think I'm going to do Evergreen. And no, you know, because it's got that other tree. See, these may be for that, but I was wanting to use it on these. I don't know if I should, or if I should just draw it, or just leave them. Okay, we'll revisit that here in a second. Okay, and then the little tent, I could stamp it. Clean off that little branch. So we slept in a camper, but the kids slept in a bona fide tent that my brother-in-law put up. And let me tell you, I mean, it was a tent, but they weren't sleeping on ground. They had a cot, they had a blow-up mattress, they had, man, like 4 or 5 windows. I can't even remember. But it was nothing that I've ever seen tent-wise. And of course, I loved it. Like, well, if you would have told me that before, then yeah, I might have actually signed up to do the tent duty instead of the camper duty. The camper, of course, was just air conditioned. Let's see if I can restamp that. It's so tiny and I've had a migraine all day, so I'm just going to restamp it. My eyes will not concentrate that small. Anyway, so it was cold, it was wonderful, but my husband and I are pretty tall. I'm 6 foot, he's 6'4". And so sleeping on a little bed proved to be quite different than what we're used to. It wasn't difficult per se, but it was very different than what we're used to. And then my brother-in-law cooked all weekend. I now can see why my sister loves to go camping. She just sits back and reaps the benefits of my brother-in-law loving to cook. So I'm just going to fussy cut this out. I usually don't fussy cut on my videos, but these were tiny, so I thought I would. I'll just try to talk and keep y'all occupied so there's not dead silence. One thing, if you are new to my channel and you haven't seen me fussy cut out, I like to leave a little white border. It's just a little more forgiving than if you were trying to cut on the actual stamped line. And then I also feel that it makes it look more like a sticker if you leave the white border. And then if it's any curved image, then I leave my scissors where they're at and I twist my paper. And that makes the curve just a little more, I guess, cohesive. It's not so choppy. And you just leave your scissors and then move your paper. And it doesn't matter if one of your white borders is a little skinnier than another. You know, because sometimes we have stickers like that. Have y'all seen those stickers that kind of have to trim down because they're not the same? Okay, so we're going to do that. I'm going to pull out some of my markers. I think gold yellow. Gold yellow. And even though this is tiny, I think it'll work. So these tri-blend markers, love them because all 3 of your like shading colors are included in this one marker. So there's no guessing what shade or what number goes with which. So I like that. And then the logs, I think I'm going to use earth brown. Depending on what I'm coloring, I usually start with the light or the dark. It just kind of depends. I don't think I'm going to do shading on those. Those are so tiny. And then think I'll add clear shimmer brush to, oops, to that fire. Just to add some shimmer. I don't know how much of it you'll actually see. You can see it there, that's for sure. Okay, I feel like I've just got to make a decision about this. So it's supposed to go like this, but part of me likes it like this, but I don't know. And then do I want it low? Do I want it high? So I think I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and trim off this piece. I'm just like biting the bullet and going ahead and adhering it down, because I could try and guess at this all night. So there's that. I did go ahead and cut a canoe. My only problem is, does it look like a bowl of cereal or does it look like a canoe? Should I put it on the land or should I put it in the water? I don't know about that. I'm thinking the tent right here. Same thing with the little campfire. Maybe even layer the campfire. Now, as far as the tree, we could have a tree over here. We may put the tree on top of the shaker, if this is even going to be a shaker still. We'll see. Oh, and I colored the tent off camera too. There's just really no need in y'all just watching me color. If you're interested in how to color, I do have a tutorial. I will try and remember to post it. I'm going to use these thin 3D foam circles, so they're not as thick as regular foam, and being that it's a circle, it's just really easy to plop down on there and do it. And I think that way it makes it look like it's far away from the tent. It's not actually on the tent. Okay, so, and then this is what the shaker would look like. So shaker would be like this, and then there would be stuff in it. I have a silver one and I have a white one. So we'll have to decide on that. I think I'm going to go ahead and glue these down, because those are not changing. And then I'm going to put 3D foam tape on this one. And that one will go like that. I just need to make sure this and this are about equal distance, which I think they are. And then my little star element will go here. Again, I may just do that. And then I've got all of these stars. Sometimes when I have little bitty things, I just dump them on my project, and then just kind of, that's an organic way of just, hey, wherever it lands, that's what it's gonna do. So I may try that here in just a second. Okay, so I am just going to drop. I am going to try to keep it pretty tight. Okay. So that's what I mean by you just drop them. And I mean, aside from, you know, putting a couple that are out of your little rim, that helps you just figure out where they're going to go. I'm not going to do any on my photo, though, just because I kind of want those just as is. So I'm just trying to move these off the photo as nicely as I can. And then of course the ones that are turned over to the wrong side, I'll flip those. So are we pretty even? So on that, see how I kind of had those two together and I had a whole bunch of these? So that's the only thing I did, is kind of spread those out. Okay, I like that. So I will glue these down with liquid adhesive. Okay, so all the bigger stars I used glue dots. These outline stars and the tiny stars, I'm using this new glue pen. And so far I like it. Just using my tweezers, picking it up. And then my finger I found was sticking to the glue, and so I'm just using the lid of my clear craft jar to push it down. And then on these tiny little stars, and these are actually pop-outs of these, I'm just applying the glue to the base. And then it seems to be working pretty good. So I think I only have this one left. So I'm going to glue it down, and then since these are kind of close together, I'll use my craft jar lid for both of those. And then I don't know about you, but I always get lost when I'm doing things like this. So the easiest way for me to realize if they're all attached is do this. And so see, there was this little bitty one, and I bet, let's put this back right there. Let's put it right there. And then again, use the craft jar. And I think I like that. I could have more over here, but maybe we'll fill in with sequins here in a second. Okay, so let me pull out my sequins. And I'm thinking one can go there, one can go here. No. Remember I said I wasn't going to put any on my photo? Well, I lied. Okay. My dog has found the bone. That one came off its little... So you know what? I think I'm going to save that one because I gotta hurry up and make my mind up on that. Do I want it to be a shaker, or do I want it to be plain? Okay, so we're good. I think I'm going to do a shaker. Just because right now that layout's just kind of boring. I am going to add my title, which is going to be night fishing. But other than that, it's pretty boring. So I think a shaker might take it to the next level, hopefully. Okay, so for my shakers, we have different shapes. Of course, this one is the star. And you can see that there's an outside and then there's all these little extras you get to use. And you guys see me that use those a lot for 3D foam tape. So the easiest way I've found is separating the inside squares from the outside, especially if you're dealing with the shape, because sometimes it is hard to keep the shape. Okay, so I just pulled up a little corner to make sure that they were separated. So I'm going to take the backing off of just that outside edge. The acetate has one side that has a protective coating. So you can see that this is kind of really shiny, and then this one is a little more dull. So that is where my protective coating is. And I like to use my rub and remove eraser to just take that protective coating off. And then if you're truly going to use it for a shaker and not just a dimensional element, you need to really rub it with some sort of anti-static pouch. That way the sequins or the beads or whatever you put in there won't stick. And I usually like to rub my fingers on it too, because once you rub it, if you were to touch it again with your fingers, then your fingers will add static back to it. Okay, so the other thing is that there is a right and a wrong way for this. Cutting something. Oh, you know what it was? There was glue right there. So I'm just going to use my eraser to erase the glue. Okay, I think I got the majority of it off. But what I was saying is that these stars, there's definitely a wrong way and a right way. You know, the stars aren't all, the little edges aren't even. So like sometimes, so see, I didn't get that one straight, so I will just cut that off. That's the good thing about having this that hides this foam tape, is it's so wide. Sometimes I wish it wasn't so wide, but the good thing about it being wide is it will hide that stuff. So see how those insides are just popping right out? So that's what we'll do here in just a second. I want to get whatever I'm going to use in here in before I take that backing off of that. So I've got these little star confettis, and then I've also got clear loose gems. So I think I want to use both of those. Okay. The other thing about these is the foam is not very thick, so you can't really pile a whole lot of stuff on there. So you kind of have to make it all one layer, otherwise it'll stick when you go to put this on. Okay, so here goes nothing. So again, I'm going to peel this off of here, and all those insides should come with it. So see, like that. And then you save those for other things. And then let's just make sure there's no static in here. And I promise, even though I do this, you're gonna have some that stick. There's no avoidance unless you use a whole lot, but then, you know, you can kind of see that powder that's in there, in my opinion. Okay, here goes nothing. So I'm laying that down, laying that down. Okay, so there's the shaker. I really like it. I'm glad I did a shaker. Now the next question is silver to hide the foam tape or white? I kind of like the white because it sets it apart, but I kind of like the silver because like all my stars are silver. So I think I'm going to go with the silver. And liquid glass and 3D foam, glue dots is the best. Liquid glass used to be my only thing, and then I thought, why can't I use glue dots? So, and the micro glue dots are perfect for almost any one of these. And so on this particular shape, I'm just going to do the glue dots on the points of the star, and then I'll do liquid glass. Liquid glass dries pretty fast, so that's why I got to put the glue dots down first. And then I put liquid glass on there, and then just adhere it down. You got to make sure it is correct. They're off just by a little bit. I wish they weren't, but I just find that if I do get it glued down weird, then I just can trim it. Okay, so I like that. So then the thing about this is because it's vellum, I don't think it's going to show too much because of all the background, but you never know. So I think I'm going to use bigger glue dots for that, because you know that water is pretty big. We could put a whole lot of glue dots behind there. We've also got to keep in mind that, let's just try it. Guess I could just line the water up right on there. Trial and error. So I'm going to put a glue dot right there, a glue dot on these bottom ones, and then a glue dot on that left arm. And then I don't think I'm going to put a glue dot on the top. That's going to be the one that's definitely over my photos, except glue dots are supposed to be acid and lignin free, but you know, you never know. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that this is center. So yep, that is pretty close. Okay, my water is not. Oh well. I'm gonna blame it on it being late and I'm tired. Okay, so now all that's left, just making sure those are on, is my title, and I'm gonna cut it using an alphabet thin cut, and then we can apply that. Okay, so here is The alphabet I'm going to use just plain and simple. I brought out some cardstock, but I think actually I may do it out of this. And then I'm thinking about trimming this down and actually having a border. But I don't know if I want this sage border and then this is the letters. So I'm going to have to think about that. And so while I'm thinking, I am going to go ahead and cut my letters. First, I'm going to see if I have a scratch piece of paper, so I don't have to cut into that 12 by 12. It's always just something I don't want to do if I don't have to. Okay, so I don't think I do. I have one that's slightly smaller than a 12 by 12, so maybe I'll just use that one. Okay. And then I wonder, night fishing is pretty long. So I'm probably going to have to do this in 2 strips. But these are 1 1/4 inches. I mean 1 3/4 inches, so just cut 2 strips of those, and then it's real easy to just line them up in my die cut machine and cut those babies out. Okay, so I thought I would show you, I have doubled up on my paper because the I gets cut twice, the N, the G, and the H I need twice anyway. So instead of cutting and then taking them all off and then cutting them again, I've just doubled up on my paper. Correct, I will have an extra N and an extra F and an extra S, but I'd rather just send it through once and have those extras than have to do it twice. So just wanted to show you that quick little trick, and I am using our new magnetic cutting plate, which makes it really easy instead of me having to tape it with the washi tape like I usually do. And so now they are all cut, and I can start removing them and then get them ready to adhere to my project. Like I said, I have 2 that, of course, most of them will be used, but all the extras I just store with this thin cut. And if I'm ever needing a letter, you know, it's not always about spelling out titles. You know, sometimes I need you know, like maybe a card and I'm addressing the envelope and the person's name starts with the T. Sometimes it's just easy to do that, and then that way they're just already there. Okay, so I've got those all separated. Let's put this back here, and then let's figure out the spacing here. Kind of want my stars to show. I mean, because after all, if they don't, then I just wasted a whole bunch of stars up here. Oh, you know what? I need 3 eyes. Okay, so gotta go cut another one. Okay, so I got my eye. So we have that. I kind of wanted it centered. So everything in the center, and then I think my journaling is going to go down here. So yeah. The other thing I could do is I could not use this night and use this night. Kind of like that. Okay, I think we're gonna go with that. So this is just going to be liquid adhesive. I can already tell I got way too much right there. And then I think I'm going to, it's another thing I love about the alphabet that I chose is it is wide enough to use 3D foam tape. So I think I want to pop that up with 3D foam tape. Okay, so it needs to be centered over the photos, far enough away from the top that it doesn't look, oh, but you know what? Hold up. Okay, no, okay, I know what we're gonna do. Remember I said I was gonna back this on some paper? We're just gonna cut it totally off the bottom. Instead of, you know, quarter inch, quarter inch, quarter inch, I'm just gonna cut the quarter inch off the bottom. Yes, that's what we will do. Then I'll add 3D foam tape to the back of these. I won't make you guys watch. Okay, I've got all the 3D foam tape added, but before I put it on, I want to go ahead and cut this down. So I want a quarter inch border all the way around. So since I'm just taking it off the bottom, I'm going to take off a ½ inch. Quarter inch from the bottom and what should have been a quarter inch at the top. And then on the sides, I'll take a quarter inch and a quarter inch. And then I can lay it on those two background pieces and decide which one I actually like better. I'm going to guess that I'm going to like the sage better, but who knows? So let's bring in this one. This is the same pattern that I did the alphabet. Kind of digging that. And then let's bring in this one. Just gonna try to line them up, but that's not working. I feel like this is going to be one of those that I'm going to make a decision, and then once I start editing this video, I'm going to wish I had done something different. Because I really want the sage to work, but this is just really calling my name. I wonder, what if I did a tiny, tiny edge? Yeah, no. I still think it's going to be this one. I do think I'm going to do a tiny edge though. Okay. Fingers don't want to work. So let me cut this one to, if that is 11.5 by 11.5, I want 11 5/8 by 11 5/8. Okay, tiny, yes. And then of course I'm going to gut this. I'm going to do the same to the larger one. So that just means, since you're not going to see this all of the center, you just basically cut a big square out of the middle, and then it never shows, and then you can use the inside that you're cutting out for photo mats, other projects, you know, just to not waste anything. So I like that, and then I'm going to do the same with this one. Usually 1 inch is a good border, but I mean, you can do any, and if you really wanted to save paper, you know, there's only going to be half or 1/4 of an inch showing, so a little even less, but you know, so you could do 1/4 of an inch border. You just have to be really good with your glue. So, but if you do 1 inch, that still leaves you saved all of this paper that you can use for something else, and then it leaves you big enough border that these other pieces can be adhered down. So I think I'm going to adhere this one down first, and then I think I'm going to edge distress my layout. And so I want to add my adhesive as close to the outer edge as possible. That way I don't have to worry about glue being on the inside of this frame. And anytime I'm working with a frame, I usually try to, that may not work because this is a weird measurement, but I usually try to hold it where it's not going to adhere where I don't want it to adhere. That's just not going to work in front of y'all. It's not wanting to play nicely. Especially when I can't get my hair, when I can't get over it and get my head in the shot like I don't want to do for you guys. Okay, so I think I am happy with that. It's a little smaller in this little bottom right corner, but I think overall that's good. And then I am going to edge distress this. I mean, because it is that great outdoors, right? Which would call for distressing. I'm going to do this off camera because this is kind of like fingernails on a chalkboard. I don't want to make you girls mad. Hold on. Okay, so I edge distressed that. The other thing that edge distressing does that I like is, if you are like me, I can't cut with scissors at all. But even with my paper trimmer sometimes my measurements are off. Well, edge distressing just kind of tricks your mind into thinking, if you see a crooked corner or something, that it's because it's edge distressed, if that makes sense. So see this corner that's all weird. I can just add a little bit more. Okay, so now we are ready for fishing. So I don't remember how I had this, but I need to make sure that my F and my G are in the right place in relation to that night. So I think that's good. So anytime I'm doing something like this, I always want to adhere down the two outside letters. So just much like I just laid these out, I want to do the F and the G because I want to make sure that they are equal distance. And then everything else you can kind of adjust in between. I am going to pull out my T ruler and put it at the top of my F. That way I'll know where to put my G. I'm not really worried about the bottom because I've got those photos, so it's not really ever going to look correct. And then you just want to go back and forth with the outside letters. So you'll see, you saw that I did the I, and then I'm going to do the G, equal distance. And then that way, by the time you get to the center, you can kind of use that H, in this instance is the center. You can use it to kind of space things out just a little bit more. Okay, almost there. Hang tight. I would stop it, but I mean, we're just like almost there. Okay, and then the H. I don't know if you noticed, but I did not go all the way to the bottom because I knew some of these letters were going to overlap this photo that was on foam tape. And so I wanted to make sure. So we're going to have to go this way. I wanted to make sure that it would just use the photo as the foam tape. When I dropped that, it dropped it the wrong way. And then I just center that H between the S and the I. And there we go, night fishing. And then I will include my journaling down here, and I'll probably, I know I've said this every day, but I'll probably do strip journaling. I may use, my white gel pen to journal. This is going to go with other layouts, so I just basically want to tell just a little bit about us going night fishing, not give all the details. So it shouldn't be a whole lot because the bulk of the journaling will go on other layouts from our trip. Okay, so that's it. Again, here's a look at the sketch. Pretty much the only thing that I kept true is this right here. My title went on top instead of on bottom, and then of course I used stars. So that's it. Thank you so much. I hope you were inspired. I hope that you liked what you saw. If you did, if you don't mind leaving me a comment and a thumbs up, and if you aren't already a subscriber, please consider hitting that subscribe button and go ahead and sign up for notifications so you'll be alerted the next time I post a crafty video.
I'll leave links down below to all the products that I used, as well as links to all the girls playing along with the 30 days of sketches. And don't forget that the creative design team will be having an exclusive 31 days of Christmas cards starting October 1st. We will be sharing a video a day for different Christmas cards, tags, boxes, you name it, it will be there. This is an exclusive event, so you must register. I'll leave the link down below. And we do have special pricing. It's only $31, but that price is only good until September 20th. So if exclusive and 31 days of Christmas ideas sounds good to you, go ahead and click that link down below, register, and then request to be a part of the exclusive Facebook group. Hope to see you there.